Shalom and welcome to this episode of Ask Aviel. My name is Aviel. You can ask me questions so that we can share, learn, and grow together. Today, I would like to talk about sibling rivalry. Sibling rivalry describes the ongoing conflict between children raised in the same family. It can happen between blood-related siblings, step-siblings, and even adopted siblings. It might take the form of verbal or physical fighting, slander, being in constant competition for parental attention, and feelings of envy. Cain and Abel. The first record of sibling rivalry. Abel became a shepherd of flocks, while Cain became a worker of the ground. Cain brought an offering of the fruit of the ground to Adonai, while Abel also brought of the firstborn of his flock, and their fat portions. Now Adonai looked favorably upon Abel and his offering, but upon Cain and his offering he did not look favorably. Cain became very angry, and his countenance fell. Cain rose up against Abel his brother and killed him. There it was, the first pair of siblings, the first record of sibling rivalry, and it ended in murder. Isaac and Ishmael, sibling rivalry between two people groups. When Sarah was unable to conceive a child for her husband, she gave Abraham her maid, Hagar, who gave birth to a son whom she named Ishmael. 13 years later, when she was 90 years old, Sarah miraculously became pregnant and gave birth to Isaac. Isaac grew and was weaned. Abraham made a big feast on the day Isaac was weaned, but Sarah saw Ishmael, the son of Hagar, the Egyptian woman, whom she had borne to Abraham, making fun. Sarah saw Ishmael, son of Hagar, making fun of Isaac, and told Abraham to banish the boy. The verb making fun has long been interpreted innocently as laughing or playing, yet this may not be what it means. Ishmael offended Sarah. What exactly was Ishmael doing, and why did it anger Sarah so? Playing with Isaac? Why would Ishmael playing with Isaac bother Sarah so much? Sarah was not really upset about Ishmael playing, but was simply concerned that as the older boy, Ishmael would inherit in place of Isaac, her son. Since he was the son of a maidservant, it was not fitting that he play with the son of the mistress of the house. And from there, he would try to make himself an equal with Isaac, her son, and in the end, make himself an equal even with regard to inheritance. Sarah perhaps saw Ishmael presuming to play the role of Isaac, the child of laughter, presuming to be the legitimate heir. Sarah wished to remove him from the house to protect her son. Some translators and commentators have suggested that Ishmael was engaged in mocking behavior. He mocked Abraham and Sarah, who were joyous about their son Isaac during the party. Ishmael's laughter paralleled his mother's mockery of Sarah, referring to when Hagar became pregnant earlier and she made light of her mistress in her eyes. Ishmael was mocking Isaac because he was worried that he would lose access to the inheritance now that Abraham's main wife had a son. Some commentaries even suggest that Sarah witnessed Ishmael molesting her son. Now we can understand Sarah's anger and her need to send Ishmael away. His indecent and abhorrent behavior alone warranted Abraham disinheriting him, but more importantly, he should not be allowed to remain in the house to continue to abuse her son. According to this interpretation, Sarah was not just simply taking the main wife's prerogative by banishing the son of the concubine as a possible future competitor with Isaac. She was possibly protecting her son from the sexual predator in their midst. Esau and Jacob, sibling rivalry between two nations. But the children struggled with one another inside Rebekah's womb, and she said, "If it's like this, why is this happening to me?" So she went to inquire of Adonai. Adonai said to her, "Two nations are in your womb, and two peoples from your body will be separated. One people will be stronger than the other people, but the older will serve the younger." When her time came to give birth, indeed there were twins in her womb. Now the first came out reddish. All of him was like a fur coat, and they named him Esau. Afterward, his brother came out with his hand holding onto Esau's heel, so he was named Jacob. Isaac was 60 years old when he fathered them. 2 brothers were born out of the same womb. Instead of 2 nations from 2 women earlier, Sarah and Hagar, these are now 2 nations born of the same woman, Rebekah. One nation will be loved and the other nation will be hated. There was something special about Esau. He was born with a fur coat. He was marked from the beginning. When the boys grew up, Esau became a man, knowledgeable in hunting, an outdoors man, while Jacob was a mild man, remaining in tents. Now Isaac loved Esau because he had a taste for wild game, but Rebekah loved Jacob. Now Jacob cooked a stew. When Esau came in from the field, he was exhausted. So Esau said to Jacob, "Please feed me some of this really red stuff, because I'm exhausted." That is why he is called Edom. So Jacob said, "Sell your birthright to me today." Esau said, "Look, I'm about to die. Of whatever use is this to me, a birthright?" Jacob said, "Make a pledge to me now." So he made a pledge to him and sold his birthright to Jacob. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and lentil stew, and he ate and drank, then got up and left. So Esau despised his birthright. Esau returned from a day of trekking and hunting, and encounters Jacob cooking a red lentil stew. Esau told Jacob to give him the red stew. Jacob responded with the condition that Esau sell him his birthright. The condition was that Esau would sell Jacob his birthright, and the condition was not the same thing as the sale itself. The scriptures do not imply that the price of the birthright is a bowl of red lentils. The actual price of the birthright is not mentioned in the text. Midrash Rabbi explains that the sale of the birthright could have been a fair price, more than the value of a bowl of lentils. Esau's response to the idea of selling his birthright was that he simply did not care. The birthright was not important to him. He was a hunter who hunted animals. For Esau, ownership of land or a field was simply an encumbrance. Consequently, Esau did not value the land, nor God's promise of the land. Esau valued material things. He gave up his birthright in pledge for bread and lentils. He was impulsive. Now it was when Isaac grew old and his eyes were too dim to see that he called Esau his elder son and said to him, "My son." "Here I am," he said to him. "Look, I'm old," he said. "I don't know the day of my death. So now, please take your weapons, your quiver and your bow, and go out to the field and hunt me some game. Then prepare me a delicious meal that I love, and bring it to me that I may eat, so that my soul may bless you before I die." Now Rebekah was listening when Isaac was speaking to Esau his son. So while Esau went to the field to hunt game to bring in, Rebekah said to Jacob her son, "Look, I heard your father speaking to your brother Esau saying, 'Bring me some game and prepare me a delicious meal that I may eat and bless you in Adonai's presence before my death.' So now, my son, listen to my voice, to what I am commanding you. Go now to the flock and bring me 2 good young goats from there, so that I may prepare them as a delicious meal for your father that he'll love. Then you'll bring it to your father to eat, so that he may bless you before his death." But Jacob said to Rebekah his mother, "Look, my brother Esau is a hairy man, but I'm a smooth man. Perhaps my father will touch me, and he'll take me for a mocker, and I'll bring upon myself a curse and not a blessing." Then his mother said to him, "Let your curse fall on me, my son. Just listen to me, and go, get them for me." So he went and got them, and brought them to his mother, and his mother prepared a delicious meal that his father would love. Rebekah also took her elder son Esau's favorite clothes that were with her in the house, and she put them on her younger son Jacob, along with the skins of the young goats on his hands and on the hairless part of his neck. She put the delicious meal and the bread that she had prepared in the hand of Jacob her son. Then he came to his father and said, "My father." And he said, "I'm here. Who are you, my son?" Then Jacob said to his father, "I'm your firstborn, Esau. I've done just what you said to me. Sit up, please, and eat some of my wild game, so that your soul may bless me." Then Isaac said to his son, "How in the world were you able to find it so quickly, my son?" He said, "Because Adonai your God made it happen for me." Then Isaac said to Jacob, "Please come closer, so I can feel you, my son, whether or not you really are my son Esau." So Jacob came closer to his father Isaac, and he felt him. Then he said, "The voice is Jacob's voice, but the hands are Esau's hands." He did not recognize him, because his hands were like the hairy hands of his brother Esau. So he blessed him. But he said, "Are you really my son Esau?" So he said, "I am." Then he said, "Bring it to me, and I'll eat some of my son's wild game, so that my soul may bless you." So he brought it to him, and he ate. And he brought him wine, and he drank. Then his father Isaac said to him, "Please come closer and kiss me, my son." So he came closer and kissed him. When he smelled the smell of his clothes, he blessed him. Leah and Rachel, sibling rivalry between two sisters. There is a strong parallel when we compare what Jacob did to Esau and Isaac in Genesis 27 and what Laban did to Jacob in Genesis 29. Jacob, as the younger son, took advantage of his father's blindness in order to obtain the blessing as Esau, the older son. Laban took advantage of the nighttime darkness. Jacob was blind in the darkness, thinking that the older sister Leah was really the younger sister Rachel. Perhaps Laban did not speak to Leah or Rachel about it, or even tell them that it was time to marry. When Laban threw a feast in honor of the upcoming marriage, the bride wasn't even there. It was a celebration between the two parties of the deal, Jacob and Laban. Jacob viewed his marriage as a business transaction between him and Laban. When he saw Leah in his tent instead of Rachel the next morning, he did not confront Leah with the trick, or Rachel for that matter, but he went straight to Laban. Jacob confused Leah for Rachel easily, even in the dark. Unlike Isaac, who was familiar with his two sons, Jacob didn't really know Rachel or Leah all that well. He was smitten with Rachel's beauty and wanted to marry her, but this does not mean that the two of them spent much time together. Perhaps Jacob did not speak to Rachel often or extensively during the 7 years, and he was not very familiar with her voice or her manner of speaking. Once Jacob spoke with Laban and arranged the marriage, there was no need for him to speak with Rachel until the wedding. Jacob did not speak much with Rachel before they married. This might be the key to understand Leah and Rachel's behavior. Why did Rachel and Leah go along with exchanging places as brides? Perhaps they knew nothing about it. Jacob made the deal with Laban and went off to watch Laban's sheep for 7 years. Laban either told his older daughter Leah that she was to marry Jacob, or perhaps Laban said nothing at all. Either way, when Leah was brought to Jacob that night, she believed that he wanted to marry her. Leah was deeply hurt by Jacob's rejection of her and his preference for her sister. Leah had many children, and Rachel was barren. This caused sibling rivalry between the two sisters. Rachel gave her maidservant Bilhah to Jacob so that Bilhah would bear children on her account. Leah did the same and gave her maidservant Zilpah to Jacob so that Zilpah would bear children on her account. Leah even accused Rachel of taking away her husband, of stealing her husband. From Leah's vantage point, Jacob was supposed to be her husband. Jacob's 12 sons, sibling rivalry between the 12 tribes of Israel. Jacob declared Joseph to be his official firstborn by giving him a special coat of many stripes or many colors. This meant that he would inherit a double portion as a firstborn should. Genesis 37. At 17 years of age, Joseph tended the flocks with his brothers, the sons of his father's wives, Bilhah and Zilpah. And Joseph brought bad reports of them to their father. Once, Joseph had a dream which he told to his brothers, and they hated him even more. He said to them, "Hear this dream which I have dreamed. There we were, binding sheaves in the field, when suddenly my sheaf stood up and remained upright. Then your sheaves gathered around and bowed low to my sheaf." It is unclear what kind of reaction Joseph was expecting, but the brothers, who already disliked him, reacted very unfavorably. His brothers answered, "Do you mean to reign over us? Do you mean to rule over us?" And they hated him even more for his talk about his dreams. whether willfully or out of ignorance of its meaning, Joseph shared the dreams with his jealous brothers, causing them to be angry and hurt. The brothers understood the dream to mean that Joseph would someday rule over them, and they assumed that he was trying to lord it over them. To them, that sounded like arrogance, excessive confidence, and conceit. He was either not bothered or blissfully unaware of their anger. He proceeded to tell them about a similar dream. He dreamed another dream and told it to his brothers, saying, "Look, I have had another dream, and this time the sun, the moon, and 11 stars were bowing down to me." This time, Joseph also shared his dream with his father, who reacted with annoyance. And when he told it to his father and brothers, his father berated him. He said to him, "What is this dream you have dreamed? Are we to come, I and your mother and your brothers, and bow low to you to the ground?" Like the brothers, Jacob interpreted the dream to mean that Joseph believed his family would bow before him in the future. So his brothers were envious of him, and his father kept the matter in mind. The dreams implied that Joseph would be dominant over his brothers. Perhaps they thought Joseph constantly imagined himself ruling over them because their father loved him, and whatever he fantasized about during the day, he dreamt about at night. Earlier, Joseph's brothers reacted simply by hating him more, but here they were described as envious, which may signify that they had begun to believe the dreams might be true. Jacob kept the matter in mind. Perhaps he was open to the possibility that this was a prophecy. Joseph told the dreams to his jealous brothers. The dreams were messages from God to Joseph, but the brothers could not accept it or submit to it. The story then continues with the brothers turning on him and throwing him in the pit. Joseph was sold into slavery by his brothers. Far from being a ruler, his brothers turned him into a slave. It was a manifestation of sibling rivalry. As Joseph grew older in Egypt, Joseph became a successful servant and eventually a dream interpreter, and later became the second in command in Egypt as a high-level ruler in Pharaoh's government. Ephraim and Manasseh. The absence of sibling rivalry. Ephraim and Manasseh were the first two siblings who did not experience sibling rivalry. Joseph was given the birthright in place of Reuben. Israel adopted both Ephraim and Manasseh as his own sons, effectively giving Joseph 2 times the inheritance of his brothers through Ephraim and Manasseh. Even though Israel crossed his hands to bless the younger Ephraim with his right hand, and his left hand was on the head of Manasseh, there is no scriptural record of Ephraim and Manasseh having any sibling rivalry. Perhaps Ephraim and Manasseh broke free from the generational sibling rivalry that had plagued their forefathers. As believers in Messiah, we do not need to experience sibling rivalry. We have a heavenly Father. He is fair and just. He does not show favoritism. Acts 10:34. The gospel is for all people, Jew and non-Jew. God is no respecter of persons. God will provide every person with the opportunity to receive the blessings that He made available through the plan of salvation. Thank you for joining me. I pray that this message inspires and challenges you. God bless you and your family. Shalom.